You want answers?
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
You want answers?
You have offended my family.
I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth.
And you have offended a Shaolin temple.
You can't handle the truth.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Radical Rant.
As you know, yesterday I was a presenter at the Better People Educational Forum that was held at the Multnomah County Public Defender's Office, and in that presentation I got to support the legalization of marijuana. Also appearing at the forum, speaking for the no side of the case, was Sergeant Chris Kenagy from the Portland Police Bureau. He is in charge of the Drug and Vice Task Force. In addition to claiming that alcohol prohibition didn't work because there were simply too many people who liked to drink, but, quote, we can stop them from getting marijuana, end quote, Sergeant Kenagy said regarding marijuana prohibition, quote, I think it's worth it, end quote. And since only 7.3% of the population uses cannabis, quote, why should we care, end quote. But what I want to spend time on today is helping Sergeant Kenagy understand that his most cherished reefer madness is utter bullshit. Sergeant Kenagy opened up his presentation by stating that the number one reason he was opposed to marijuana legalization was because cannabis is a gateway drug. He even went so far as to say that, quote, every single study has proven it is a gateway drug, end quote. He then went on to talk about all the heroin, cocaine, and meth addicts he ever had to work with, and, quote, 100% of them started with pot, end quote. As Sergeant Kenagy explained it, quote, when you first start using marijuana, you get a high, but after a while you develop a tolerance, and so you begin looking for other ways to get a stronger high, end quote. He also explained that, quote, using marijuana lowers your inhibitions for using other drugs, end quote. Now, it's easy to understand why a drug and vice cop might sincerely believe that marijuana leads to hard drugs. In the same way that an emergency room doctor might believe drinking inexorably leads to auto crash trauma. It's because of what's called selection bias. The fact that all the drug users a cop meets and all the drinkers an ER doc meets are there because of their victims' problems with drugs and alcohol. Sergeant Kenagy never interfaces with the vast majority of cannabis consumers who are neither hard drug users nor have gotten caught with any pot. What Sergeant Kenagy and the gateway drug believers are also suffering from is retroactively attributing causality where none exists. If you ask a heroin user, what's the first drug she tried, she'll probably say marijuana. Unless she's smart enough to recall that cigarettes and alcohol are drugs, since more heroin addicts will cite those as their first substances when properly asked. But that doesn't mean that marijuana led the woman to heroin. It just means that heroin users tend to have used marijuana. Here's a way to think of it, and it's a riff that I picked up from Maya Salovitz out at Time magazine when she wrote about this, and I so wish I'd had the opportunity to confront Sergeant Kenagy with it. Did you ever ride a tricycle as a kid? Sure, many of us have. I rode a tricycle as a kid. Why did we do it? Well, 'cause it was fun. It takes us places faster than walking, and we like the breeze in our hair, maybe the tassels on the handlebars and its pretty red color. Okay. Now, how many of you are members of the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club? Nobody? Well, that's strange, because when I asked a bunch of Hells Angels bikers what was the first vehicle they ever drove, 100% of them started with tricycles. As they explained it to me, when they first started riding tricycles, they had a lot of fun, but after a while they grew out of them, and so they began looking for other ways to ride for fun. They concluded that riding tricycles lowered their inhibitions to ride training wheel bikes, and then BMX bikes, and then motorbikes, and then finally big loud Harleys. Look, folks, the facts are these. 108 million people in America have tried marijuana. There are about 16.1 million monthly users of marijuana, and there are only 287,000 monthly users of heroin. Not only do most people who try marijuana never move on to heroin, The vast majority of them don't even continue smoking marijuana. And as for every single study, they actually debunk the gateway drug theory. As our Institutes of Medicine put it in 1999, quote, "There is no conclusive evidence that the drug effects of marijuana are causally linked to the subsequent abuse of other illicit drugs. In fact, most drug users begin with alcohol and nicotine before marijuana, usually before they are of legal age," end quote. In 2001, the American Journal of Public Health said, quote, "A careful analysis of all the data suggests that the gateway phenomenon characterized the drug use subculture of some baby boomers, but does not apply in the same manner to the generation that started using marijuana in the mid-1990s, end quote. In 2002, Rand's Public Safety and Justice Unit said, quote, "While the gateway theory has enjoyed popular acceptance, scientists have always had their doubts. Our study shows that these doubts are justified," end quote. In 2006, the American Journal of Psychiatry said, quote, "The likelihood that someone will transition to the use of illegal drugs is not determined by their preceding use of a particular drug, but instead by the user's individual tendencies and environmental circumstances," end quote. And in 2010, the Journal of Health and Social Behavior said, quote, "It really didn't matter if someone used marijuana or not as a teen," end quote, in predicting their use of hard drugs. Yet all these studies point out that access to marijuana and drugs and the pressures of the illicit market do tend to be predictors of drug use. It's not the cannabis that's the gateway, it's the prohibition of it. Nobody thinks that tequila and cigarettes are gateway drugs because there's no heroin and cocaine next to them on the store shelves. But when you have to break the law and visit an illicit market to consume cannabis, you're also presented with greater access to other drugs. And for some, once they've violated the law and become a druggie, there is a loss of inhibition, a crossing of a line that someone who is a legal drinker doesn't feel. For others, when they do get access to cannabis and discover that it's not the deadly dangerous devil's lettuce that will shrink their balls, enlarge their man boobs, lead to heroin, and turn their brain into a fried egg, they feel lied to, they feel bamboozled, and they may lose an inhibition of believing the mostly factual information about the hard drugs. Sergeant Kenagy seemed like a nice man, and off stage much less strident in his anti-marijuana tone. He genuinely seemed to not care as much for policing marijuana, consistently saying on stage, quote, "We concentrate on heroin, meth, and cocaine," end quote. Which I believe, because as Multnomah County sheriffs and the Portland Police Bureau, they do tend to give wide berth to cannabis when they can. So Sergeant Kenagy, please help us close what gateway there is between marijuana and hard drugs by separating those markets, like the Netherlands did 30 years ago. They enjoy half the marijuana and drug use rates that we do in the United States, and even lower rates compared to Oregon, and far lower rates compared to Portland. Well, folks, that's all the time we got here for the Russ Belville Show. I want to thank you for joining us and encourage you to check out our store at 420radio.org/shop. And the PowerPoint presentation that I did yesterday is now available online. You can download it. It's got a full script. It's got, I think, 14 or 15 slides, one interactive graph, 3 videos. It's great little 15-minute presentation for delivery at your meetings. And right now, it's on sale for $1.99. You can get it for just $1.99. If you'd like the free version of it, it's up online at my YouTube channel at Radical Russ. What I did yesterday, the filmed version I did yesterday, is available youtube.com/Radical Russ. And if you want to look at that, so check that out. And that's, like I said, all the time we've got for today. But stay tuned for hour 2. We're going to play some more music from our good friend Carrie Lee, who we just interviewed from prison. His album's got 13 tracks on it. You can check it out at iTunes, Amazon, and CD Baby, or just go to carrielee.com for more information. Also got a special surprise for Lively Libra in hour 2. Happy birthday, darling. Say happy birthday to Mr. Libra, too, and happy anniversary. Killing 3 birds with 1 stone. All right, folks, gotta go. We'll be back for hour 2 right around the break, so stay tuned For everyone here at 420 Radio, I'm Radical Russ. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, take care of each other, tokers.
This is the Russ Belville Show. The Russ Belville Show is blogging and podcasting daily at radicalruss.com.
You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it. You take a seed, you plant it,